All right, so this is about 2. We're going to be talking about solving. So when we're solving, our goal is always to get x alone. And so we're going to start with some basics and different ways we can get x alone. Now, we have 2 choices here. We can either distribute, just like I can over here, or I can divide. I'm actually going to be a little tricky here, because since there's only one parenthesis, I'm going to go ahead and divide by -4, which will make my numbers much smaller and therefore easier to deal with. And so 4 goes into negative 156, 30, I believe 39 times. I'm going to double check that with my calculator, but I'm pretty sure it's 39. Let me look real quick. Calculator. 156 divided by 4. Yep, 39. Okay, now my numbers are much smaller. Now you can only do this step if there's no pluses. So like over here and here, I cannot divide first. But this one I can, and this one I can. So after I've done that, now I'm going to go and subtract 7 from both sides. Negative 8x equals 32. Divide by negative 8. And x equals negative 4. Go ahead and do this. You may use any method you like. Any method at all, but you must show all of your work. All right. On 3 and 4, I'm actually going to do 4 because it seems a little harder than 3. Because I have something in front here, I cannot just divide by negative 4. So I must start by distributing on this one. So 4 plus 8x equals 8x minus 28 plus 4x, because negative 4 times negative x is positive. I'm going to go ahead and subtract 8x from both sides. And now I have 4 equals negative 28 plus 4x. I'm going to add 28 to both sides. And I have 32 equals 4x. And dividing by 4, I get x equals 8. And again, it's pretty straightforward. So it's up to you what you want to do first. You'll notice that I did not combine like terms. I just moved the 8 over, and then I moved the 28 over, and then I moved the 4 as division because I only had the 1x left at that point. Okay. And so it's up to you what you want to do, how you want to do it, what you want to deal with. Okay. Now 5 and 6 are a little bit tougher because of the absolute value. And I'm going to stay over here with number 6. Just for fun. The minus sign makes it a little trickier, not really. So if the absolute value of something is 14, then something is 14. 14 equals 14, right? So the absolute value of 14 is 14. The absolute value of negative 14 is also 14. Okay, so that's what I know. So in my head, I'm thinking this, which means I'm going to have 2 equations. 10 minus 3x is 14. Or 10 minus 3x is negative 14. I want that not to look like a 9. See that the stuff inside is 14, or the stuff inside is negative 14, 2 equations. Subtracting 10 from 14, negative 3x equals 4. So from this one, negative 3x equals 4. So x equals 4 divided by negative 3. This one I will solve in black. Again, we're going to subtract 10 from negative 14 now. So negative 3x equals negative 24. Dividing by negative 3, x is 8. So these 2 answers, and when you're dealing with absolute values, you get 2 answers. So how should we set up 5? Again, 2 equations. Which 2 equations? Pick from the list below. Which 2 equations should we use? Our 2 equations are 8x plus 1 is 38, 9, or 8x plus 1 is negative 39. All that changes is the number over here. Okay, Nothing else changes, just that. Now you can go ahead and solve those. All right, moving on. So the rest of these are all quadratic, the rest of the page. Now 7 and 8 are really easy, but our brains sometimes overdo these. I'm going to go ahead and do number 7. So for number 7, I have two parentheses and I'm multiplying, I get 0. And the 0 product property states that if I multiply two things and get 0, one of them must have been 0. So x plus 1 is 0, or x plus 6 is 0. So x is -1 or -6. That's all there is to that. Don't overthink that one. Let's jump to number 9. Number 9, we're going to try, we can either use the quadratic formula or factor, your choice. Most of you are going to choose the quadratic formula, so I'm going to go ahead and do that for you. I would choose to factor. I'll do that in a second. So x equals -b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2 times a, which becomes -5 plus or minus the square root of 25 plus 4 times 24 96 over 2, which becomes 5 plus or -5, plus or minus the square root of 121 over 2, which is equal to -5 plus or minus 11 over 2. Square root of 121 is 11. So we have -5 plus 11 over 2, or -5 minus 11 over 2. -5 plus 11 is 6 over 2. -5 minus 11 is -8, -16, 16 over 2, which is equal to 3 or -8. Okay. Or I could have factored. If I factor, I break this up. X squared -24. -24 up here and 5 here. The numbers are 8 and -3. 8x minus 3x. So I did the box twice. 11. And so this becomes x plus 8 and x minus 3 equals 0. And using what I did on number 7, x equals -8 or 3. I like this red way better than the blue way, but you may use whatever you want. All right. Number 11 is a little different because it's equal on the other side. So I'm going to go ahead and add 2 to both sides. Putting it in the right order, x squared plus 2x minus 48 equals 0. You may continue with whatever method you want. Same here. Add the 18. Same here. Subtract the 21. This one's a little more complicated, so we'll set this one up. Minus 11x minus 11x. 4x squared minus 11x equals 3 minus 3 minus 3. 4x squared minus 11x minus 3 equals 0. Again, you may either factor or use the quadratic formula. And then last but not least, we have these. I'm going to go ahead and do 16. I'm going to use the quadratic formula. The numbers are all too big. I don't even want to think about it. And so I have -b, which is going to be +5, plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2 times a, which is equal to 5 plus or minus square root of 25 plus 44 times 396 over 22. And I get 421 under the radical here. So I have x equals 5 plus or minus 421 over 2. The square root of 421 is a decimal of 20.5. So I'm going to call it finished right here. And that's it. Good luck on the rest of these. Have a great day.